Well, Kevin, welcome back to Northwest Arkansas. When you pulled up into the bus, did it kind of feel like home a little bit?
Yeah, I got really excited. We pulled in about 4:15 in the morning, and about like 3:45, 4 o'clock, I kind of woke back up, started like looking at the campus and everything. Everything started to look familiar, and I got excited.
How cool is it to be back here? And I know that there are going to be a lot of a lot of Arkansas fans in the stands this weekend, not necessarily cheering for the Naturals, but cheering for you.
I think that's always going to be a cool thing that's close to my heart, and Fayetteville always feels like home, especially not just Fayetteville, but kind of the whole area here. So it's always enjoyable.
Even though the Arkansas career is over, you made an impact on so many young fans, families, baseball fans in general, that you're always going to have Kevin Kopps fans, no matter where you go, but specifically here.
I think that like that part of my career has like taught me how I want to be like when I get older, and how I want to continue to be when I play, and just kind of be more of like a fan person as much as I can be. It gets hard sometimes, but just do as much as I can.
And how much did that chapter of your life prepare you for professional ball now?
The whole experience at Arkansas, I didn't really have the easiest time in my younger years, but I think like that journey really prepared me to like work hard, and I think it's taking it to like to the minor leagues, and like what can I learn while I'm here, you know.
What's been the biggest takeaway that you've learned so far in your professional career so far?
Really trying to find myself, and like find like pro ball is more about, you don't really have as much coaching, and so you kind of coach yourself, and it's like your career. So I think that's kind of been the biggest challenge, is like what are these things that help stabilize me in my career.
It's interesting. I've heard people talk that especially in the minors, when you pitch, you're not necessarily pitching to win ball games per se. Now you want to, but you want to work on pitches. You're working on certain mechanics. You're testing new things. It's a little different mentality than college ball. Yeah,
you don't really have like the high pressure situations. Nothing's as high pressure as I think I'd like it to be, because I think you feed off of that a little bit. But at the same time, I think the Missions and the Padres have done a good job. Is like this year that we have been focused more on winning, because I think they want that culture to start translating into the big leagues when the younger guys get up there.
Yeah, and it comes with some self-motivation, as you mentioned.
Yeah. Like for me, working on mechanics and thinking about things in the game doesn't work for me. I really have to think about what I need to do to win the game, and that's all I need to think about.
Play a little Heat Waves in your headphones before you get out there.
Yes.
What has it been like being a professional baseball player and not necessarily having the facilities that Arkansas gave you, but this is a job now?
Yeah, I think as a reliever, I think it's given me like a different perspective. So it's a little bit more challenging. You don't have, like you said, the resources. I think that's an important factor. Being a reliever is like you don't have a routine really. When you're a reliever, you just kind of, it's more random. So I think just kind of building more confidence without structure, I think is what I've learned.
With it being a job, how do you approach every day?
I still don't really look at it as a job.
That's perfect.
To be honest, it is a job, but I don't really look at it as a job. I just take every day the same. Just thankful that I'm here, and try to make an impact.
You're meeting new people. You've got new teammates. People are coming and going. Even you are jumping up steps in the minor league systems. It's a little bit of a different dynamic. So how do you balance that on top of, wanting to continue to improve your craft?
It's hard. It gets sad to me sometimes, like, because I think that's one of the saddest things about baseball is like you make these good friends, even at Arkansas. Like you'll make these good friends, and then they'll leave. And then especially in pro ball, you make these good friends, then they'll leave. They'll get traded. Something will happen, and so you don't really have all the stability you need.
One nice thing is San Antonio. I think I did the Google Map search, about 189 miles from Sugar Land, Texas. So you have family close, relatively close.
Yeah. So I get to see my family a lot, especially my dad. My dad makes a lot of trips. My mom isn't able to get away from work. I think my favorite part is I get to see Bowie, my dog, a lot more because they're close.
I promise you, he's probably happy he gets to see you more too.
Yeah, he's very happy every time I come home.
How fun is it to play in front of family when you can and have that comfort a little bit? Because you're on the road a lot and you don't necessarily see familiar faces often.
It's nice. I think my dad gets more excited than I do, to be honest. But it's nice having his support. Like, he's always like there for me. If I need something, he'll bring me something still. He kind of still likes to be my dad, which is nice.
Yeah. You know, something that's cool that we talked about back in our office lately is that there are so many former Razorbacks in the Texas League right now. You have Isaiah Campbell with the Travelers, Lyle Lockhart's with the Drillers. I know that Dominique Fletcher just moved up, but he was with Amarillo for a while. And so how cool is it that you're playing teams that might be a former Razorback on the other side?
I think it's fun, and at the same time, it's good to see them. You know, you go eat lunch with them before games and stuff, and get to catch up a little bit. At the same time, you know, like you face like guys like Dominic or like Jack Spiggers at Frisco. You faced them so many times. I don't even know how. Like, I feel like I should know how to pitch him, but I also feel like he knows how I pitch him, so it gets like a little bit of cat and mouse there.
Yeah, little blurry lines there. Like, what am I going to throw you, man? I've thrown you everything.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about throwing. How have you improved since you left Arkansas?
I got a little bit in a rut. I was trying to do things that I shouldn't have been doing. And I kind of got away from what makes me me. And I think this second half of the season, I've really focused on doing that more. And I've been able to like pinpoint what makes me good better than I had at Arkansas. So like I've had more ups and downs here, but I'm able to, I guess, refine those skills a little bit better and pinpoint what I want.
How does the feedback come your way on those things when you're trying to improve or you're making changes that might not work? Are you seeing the film and saying, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore? Is it more of a feeling for you, or are you getting feedback from your coaches?
It's more of a feeling for me. Like, I can tell like when it comes out of my hand, and sometimes as pitchers you get lost and you can't figure out why something's happening. But I would say most of the feedback comes from feeling or what the hitters are doing.
Yeah, for sure. What's been some feedback for you in terms of your trajectory right now? I know things change so quickly in baseball, but when you talk to the people that matter on where you're going to be and where you can be, what does that trajectory look like?
I'm not sure. I don't really like to guess.
Sure.
Every time I guess God's plan, it always changes. So I really try not to pay attention to the future, and I just try to, I guess for me, it's, I think the difference between the minor league guys and big league guys is consistency. So I just try to, once I'm more consistent, I think everything will fall in place.
I'm sure it will. One thing, what has been your favorite part about being a professional?
I think the funniness. I have a really weird sense of humor, or more of like a sarcastic sense of humor. So I think like the randomness, the funniness of just things that go on in the minor leagues. I think I've really enjoyed that aspect of it.
What do you miss the most about college ball?
I think the emotion, and I don't think people really get that until you get back to the big leagues. Like you mentioned earlier, like it's more about development in the minor leagues. I really miss the emotion from like the fans and your teammates more, like into the game more in that sort of sense.
Well, Kevin, I can tell you a lot of people are excited to see you take the mound here at the Naturals ballpark in the next couple of days. Hopefully Tuesday night, Wednesday night right off the bat. But thank you for your time, and it's good to see you back here in Fayetteville.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.